Today's reflection is taken from Isaiah 40, verse 28 to 31, and will focus on my earthly father. Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. Now this may strike you as an odd passage to reflect on my earthly father, but it's the verse I read at my own dad's funeral 8 years ago, who with great style and timing died on the first Sunday of Advent, the Sunday of the Patriarchs, which along with his birthday is the day I miss him most. The choice of reading was suggested by the wonderful local vicar Shirley, as among the many things my dad did in his life was national service in the Royal Air Force in Malaya and Singapore, managing to avoid getting shot and gaining a medal. More on that later. I was so fortunate that I was able to be with him on the afternoon he died and tell him how much I loved him and how much he meant, not just to me, but to his wife, my sisters, and all the family. With less than perfect timing, he died as I was halfway up the M1 heading home. I give thanks to God for that precious last time I spent with my dad. But I want to focus on all the lovely and amazing things he did in his life and gave to his family. A proud Yorkshire tyke, born and brought up in Hebden Bridge, even after spending over 50 years outside the county, he never lost his accent and his pride in God's own county. Upon retiring and acquiring a caravan, many weeks in rain and occasional sunshine were spent walking in Wharfdale. It's from him I gained my love of climbing the Yorkshire hills and fells, even though in the early days there were more than a few. I'm tired. Are we there yet? And how far is it from me? He had an incredible faith that there would be an ice cream van at the top of the hill, and sometimes, almost miraculously, there was. Later on, we nearly always ended at a pub with a celebratory pint. Walking was his solution to most things. Once, when going through a difficult time in my life, his response was, "Come down for the weekend. We're walking 26 miles from Avebury to Stonehenge." Despite my lack of training, but with him beside me, I made it. This generous love of walking has been and continues to be incredibly healing for me. In my grief, climbing to high points in the Dales and the Calder Valley, where we walk together as a family, has enabled me to laugh, cry, shout, grieve, and give thanks to God for all his and Dad's love. It's also from him that I inherited my itchy feet and love of travelling. After retiring, he spent one summer walking across France from the Channel to the Mediterranean, his exceedingly supportive wife as support crew. On a round-the-world trip, he returned to Changi Air Base in Singapore, turning up at the gateway, saying loudly and proudly, "Keith Astin, number 123456, reporting for duty." Luckily, they had a sense of humour, as did he. A favourite saying in our family is, "Some say good old, insert name here, others tell the truth." I guess, like all relationships, we had the odd run-in, but were always made up. He was always there for me and my sisters through thick and thin, always smiling, generous to so many, in so many ways. My only grumble that I can remember was his very Yorkshire habit of short arms, deep pockets when visiting the pub. I want to thank God for Dad and all his love. Dear Father God, I want to thank you so very much for all our earthly fathers, for the faith they pass on to us, their enduring and unconditional love, their never-ending faith in us, even when we muck up, and the strength they give us. It seems appropriate to finish with Psalm 21. I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore.